What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. And today we're taking a look at the Bitcoin price chart. We're also going to peek over there at the altcoin market. I'm going to take a look, a bigger perspective look here at the crypto market. As you guys know, my expectations for Bitcoin is that, the top's going to come in somewhere between $70,000 and $80,000. This isn't new. I've been saying this for years at this point. Of course, the general sentiment right now is no blockchain backer. This time, you're wrong. And that's okay, but I'm going to reiterate my perspective here, and I'm going to show you the things that I'm going to be watching for in the altcoin market, specifically looking at the total altcoin market cap. We don't spend too much time looking at Elliott waves in here, but today we are. So we're going to talk a lot about Elliott waves and what's going on in the market cycle right now. And we'll talk about how previous bull runs have ended and the signs that I'm going to be looking for to give me that assurance that that's what's going on. Now, today, starting out the week, pretty good over here for Bitcoin. We can see that Bitcoin's back above $63,000. I believe yesterday it had dipped down into the 59s. But hey, we're back at the 63s today. Rest of the market looks pretty good. Nothing huge going on in the market today, all in that 1, 2, 3% price range for the market. But otherwise, we're starting the week out green. We're not going to spend this video looking at short-term price action of what's going to happen in the next day or two, but we're going to look at really big perspective stuff. Now, I've been doing this YouTube channel for a while. I've done over 550 videos on this thing. I've been here since 2019. I've gone through all kinds of craziness in this. I started my channel back in here. We've gone through all this. We went through the C19 sell-off. We went through all the madness, the huge run-up, the huge pullback in this, but not just over here on Bitcoin or with the total market cap or altcoins, but we've gone through these similar types of things happening over there with XRP or the Ripple XRP price chart when the SEC sell-off happened. Everybody remembers the 17.5 cent stuff, the 22.5 cent stuff. We've been through a lot of stuff, and I've been through the big emotional swings that happens in this market. And 90% of this market is being able to take control of your emotions. It's the most volatile market in the world. The swings to the upside are huge. The swings to the downside are huge. And whenever we get that endorphin pumping, we want more, give us more. And then whenever things get really bad, our emotions tell us, cut your losses. It's going to get even worse. And with having such a huge audience of people on Twitter, you really get a really good perspective into what the sentiment of the market is. And usually when you can see euphoria, such as diamond hands and laser eyes, you know you're at a peak. Or when you see everybody screaming, just admit that it's a bear market, you know you're at a bottom. Whenever prices fall 50% and then everybody is screaming, we're going to lose another 50%, you know we're at the bottom. And if you look around at sentiment right now for the cryptocurrency market, what you see out there, especially for Bitcoin, is a lot of calls for $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. Yet, if you would have gone back 1 month ago, people were still very worried that it was going to roll over and go into an extreme bear market. But something psychologically happens with people's sentiment once you get through certain price levels. Once we got through $54,000, a lot of the people who were doubters have now returned and they're optimistic all over again. Of course, it took the prices rising 80% before that confirmation of everything's going to be okay came back. As you know on this channel, we remained positive, remained optimistic that the prices would go to set new all-time highs during all of this, never wavering one time that there would be some type of major crash. We've spent a lot of time looking at the inverse price chart of Bitcoin, saying that, hey, we're rolling back up to wave 4 within wave 5 for wave 6, that this level would hold and that this would fall. And since we're looking at Bitcoin inverse or Bitcoin upside down, as this falls, the price of Bitcoin rises. And this has been the expectation during the whole time period. But as we finally get to these prices, what does the market want? It wants more because now the market has the assurances that they feel like they're safe. They didn't feel safe in here. They didn't feel safe in here. Now everybody suddenly feels safe here and they want way more. And now, suddenly, the blockchain backer, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, the whole reason I remained bullish in here is with the expectation that we would get up in here. So as we go into the next phase of the market, I'm looking for the top of Bitcoin to come in. That's been my exit plan for a very long time. I created bcbacker.com. I put all my exit plans in there. I talked all about this stuff when Bitcoin was still 50% below its all-time high back in here. Now, I'm laying a lot of this foundation down, and a lot of you guys already know this. You're like, yeah, man, you're just wasting my time here talking about that. But you have to understand this is the direction that this channel is now going to be going into. For the last 2 years, the channel has been about pick me up, reassurance. We're going to get through these tough times. We're going to get through it. The market's going to pull itself together. We're going to go into this big major bull run and things are going to get excited. We still need that for a lot of assets, right? XRP in particular, right? Bitcoin Cash, Zcash Dash, EOS, all of those still need to take off. But as we go through these next phases of the market, it's going to be about looking for the very top of the market. Just like how back in here, so many people didn't believe that we were going to recover. Most people thought that the market was going to continue crashing and the gig was up. I felt like I had a storm coming at me with the number of comments and the number of responses to my tweets that were toxic, right? I said that would happen. I said there would be toxicity during this moment because people can't emotionally handle these types of things. But we will recover. What many people don't know is I felt that exact same thing when we were up in here. I was selling my Bitcoin between $45,000 to $58,000 looking for a 50% crash in Bitcoin. I said it over and over and over again. I must have said it 100 times. I was expecting a 50% crash in Bitcoin, and I finished my exit plan for Bitcoin at $58,000 and posted it over there on Twitter on February 22nd. The reality is, though, Bitcoin did fall from 58,000 and then it rolled up a little bit higher. Coinbase IPO'd, then a massive fall came in. But what happened here? If we look at $58,000 where I finished my exit plan at, how far did it fall from that price level? It fell 50%. We went from 58,000 down to 29,000. Well, there was a little weirdness that happened there with the prices extending a little bit higher after initially falling right in here, which is also the same place where on chain, all of the large pockets took profit there. The accounts with over 1,000, the accounts with over 100, the entities with over 100, they all started selling right where I started selling, expecting the same thing. And then as we have our crash, it pulls down to 50% below that price level. We did move up to 64. The total correction was 55%, but from the original location that the crash was expected to occur from, it fell 50%. Why does that matter? It's because that's been my exit plan for the longest time that something like that would show up. That from 58,000, we would see a 50% crash to 29,000. It's another confirmation to me that the top of Bitcoin's coming in between $70,000 and $80,000. Maybe there's some crazy wick taking it to 85 or something like that. I don't know what a crazy wick's going to look like. But in the end, from a percentage perspective, there's just not much left in Bitcoin. If we look at previous bull runs of what has happened with Bitcoin, we see this happen all the time, right? We see that Bitcoin actually does do this. It breaks above its all-time high, gets a big push up, and then it pulls back to this 1.618 Fibonacci retracement level, and then it fires off, and it just keeps on going, and it goes on this massive bull run. It's like doing exactly what it's always done by pulling back to this 1.618 Fibonacci extension level. So it's like, well, if we just do what we've done in every bull run, you know, we break out, we come up, we come back to this 1.618, and then boom, we just keep on cranking and cranking and cranking. However, I've presented the case multiple times that I don't think that's going to happen this time, and that I think the top of Bitcoin comes up in here between $70,000 and $80,000 due to Fibonacci extensions and due to previous Bitcoin bull run cycles, and that it's actually just going to top out up in here, and that there is a circumstance in which we did break out and we did back test this 1.618, and it did not crank out much higher. So if we look at our last bull run, you can look at it right here. You can see here's the Fibonacci extension. You can see how it breaks out massively, and then you see it come back to the 1.618 Fibonacci retracement. And then what happened? I mean, it just fired up. It went way beyond the 4.236. It was like, ha, everybody, it's a crash. Nope, just kidding. Still kept on going. But my argument is that's not going to be the case this time, and that we're just finishing up a mega super cycle, and there is a circumstance in which we did break out like this, back test the 1.618 Fibonacci retracement, and then it did come up in here and top. And when was it? It was here. When we look at this bull run from back in 2013, this phase that I've said that this whole area right here was 2018 through 2020, you could see the big breakout and then the 50% crash taking it back to the 1.618 Fibonacci retracement in here. The reason I was selling my $58,000 Bitcoin, expecting a 50% crash, just like we had back in 2013. We have the 50% crash. It comes back down to the 1.618 Fibonacci retracement, breaks up, Boom, that was it. That was the end of the bull run. It was all over. And an equivalent fall like this right in here for Bitcoin currently would be like a pullback to about $13,000. And as you can see, even in this time period, it took over a year for that to play out. I would expect it would take much longer for Bitcoin if it did something like that. I've got other scenarios drawn out on what could happen for Bitcoin, which would be much worse, but there's no need to go into those at this time. But in the end, all signs point to we're in the final push for Bitcoin. And what we're seeing right now is retail investors caring very much about hitting that magical number of 100,000. And so let's say we do go to 100,000, right? We're all cheering for 65% for Bitcoin. In cryptocurrency, that's called dismal returns. That's called the worst investment you can make with how risky cryptocurrency is in general, especially since it's up 1,900% already. You have a bunch of people chasing 65%. So, I've had this YouTube channel for a long time. It was always about chasing those monster gains is what I was always after. So whatever happens in the final percentages, does it go to 75, 80, 85? I do not think we will see $100,000. I think there's no chance that it happens. But either way, everything is still pointing this is the top, right? And okay, whatever, blockchain backer, man, we've been talking about that all week. We get it, dude. But the reason why I keep saying that is because we've got to go over to the total altcoin market cap. And this is where we're going to spend really the rest of this video on. And we're going to talk about ELLIOT waves, and we're going to start counting waves and figuring out, do the waves even tell us that the top is coming in? And what does Bitcoin typically do at particular waves that will give us the sign? So we're going to spend a lot of time talking about this just to kind of build a foundation of what I'm looking for as we go into that final phase of Bitcoin. History has always shown that the altcoin market is the most exciting place to be in when the top of Bitcoin comes in. While everybody's chasing 65% over there on Bitcoin, it's those altcoins that put up those hundreds to sometimes thousands of percentage gains. For that, I'm over 90% invested in altcoins versus Bitcoin. I do own some Bitcoin. It's an asymmetric bet. I think it's far more likely Bitcoin goes to $3,000 than Bitcoin goes to $100,000. So I fully expect to lose all of my Bitcoin that I currently own, or at least lose the USD value in that. However, for altcoins, my bias, my speculation is different, and I think that the altcoins will go up higher. And over the last couple of days, I've had a few days off because I'm back from vacation. Hopefully this audio sounds a little bit better now that I'm back at my battle station with all my monitors and my computer, but I've spent some time doing some ELLIOT wave counts over here, and we're going to talk about this in more depth right now. And if you know nothing about ELLIOT waves, well, I'm going to hopefully be able to explain some things that at least give you a basic understanding. But before we do that, I have to set this foundation as well. And right here, I've got the Bitcoin price right here. And down here, I have the total altcoin market cap. And I'm going to show you some things that happen with the altcoin market versus Bitcoin when a top of Bitcoin comes in. And it's that the altcoin market tends to go on its biggest run after the top of Bitcoin has already come in. We saw that happen most recently right in here, and we expected something like that because we've seen that happen in 2017. We'll start with 2017 first, and I want to show this to you that you can see that as Bitcoin topped in here, Bitcoin topped back on December 17th, and it was in the retracement rally that the altcoin market shot way up. You can see how much of a rise it had. It went up into a bubble as Bitcoin did. Bitcoin fell, and then the altcoin market continued surging way higher, even though Bitcoin only went into a retrace and continued down. So what we've seen happen before is that the top of Bitcoin will come in, and then the altcoin market will continue firing off one more time. That also happened here most recently in this most recent top right back in here. You can see that the top of Bitcoin came in right here on April 14th. And when Bitcoin came down, it did a 702 Fibonacci retracement. And what did the altcoin market do? It continued firing up much higher. So we know that in history, when tops come in for Bitcoin, we see that the altcoin market takes off into the retracement. So something I'm going to be looking for coming into the end of the cycle is there this phenomenon happening where Bitcoin has not broken out into a new high, yet the altcoin market has fired off significantly. So we can see two scenarios where this has occurred. You can see that happening right back here in 2017, and then you see that occurring right back in here as well. Bitcoin did not go higher from its top here, where the altcoin market topped as well. However, the altcoin market fired up a lot, while Bitcoin only retraced. Same thing happened back in here. That's a phenomenon that is recurring in this market. After Bitcoin tops, the altcoin market continues going higher. And so we're going to tie that into all of these Elliott waves and what I'm looking for moving forward, knowing that this market does do that. But before we do that, I want to talk about Elliott waves in general in case you've never seen them before. Essentially, Elliott waves consist of 5 waves in one direction and then 3 waves in the opposite direction, such as a rise, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by a correction, which is an A, B, C. And within all these waves, we can typically count the same thing. In the first wave, we'll see 5 waves, and then we'll see an ABC correction for wave 2. 5 waves, ABC correction. 5 waves, and then that's the end of the super wave, and we go into a longer correction in which we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the ABC correction takes you back upwards, and then you continue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for the most part, we're going to be focusing on this side over here in the bullish phase, where we're going up 5 waves and looking at the waves that are in the middle of each of these waves, counting the 5 waves up, followed by the ABC corrections back down to see if we can figure out where are we right now within the total altcoin market cap. And as you look at this right now, you could see that, hey, it's my opinion, we're actually in the 5th and final wave. And of course, I'm going to start from fresh so you don't have to look at all this and be like, oh my gosh, it just looks like slop all over the screen. Let's take it all off and let's start. My belief is that we're in the 5th wave and that this was wave 1, this was wave 2, this was wave 3, this was wave 4, and we're now going in for the 5th and final wave. But what do we need to look for if we're looking at these big waves, right? If I think we've already done 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going into 5 right now, can we spot these within these waves to say that seems true? Can we find 5 waves up followed by an ABC within wave 2? Yes, we can. Here's wave 1, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is what we needed for wave 1. In wave 2, we have an A, B, C correction. The rule for a wave 2 is that it cannot go lower than wave 1, and it did not go lower. I'll hide these real quick so we can see it clearly, but you can see that this low did hold. However, on a wave 2, it can actually go all the way back down to the bottom. That is completely fine on a wave 2. There is no rule on where it has to land. It is completely allowed to go all the way back down to the low without setting a new low, which we did, and you can see that if I zoom in even closer, you could see that thing did hold that low. I'll scoot it back up. I'll turn all of that back on. And so we have wave 1 with 5 waves within wave 1. We have wave 2 with an ABC correction within wave 2, which is what we needed, an ABC correction. Now what are we going to be looking for here in wave 3? We're going to be looking for 5 waves taking us to the upside. And we're also going to look right here, and we're going to notice that we're going to be looking for, after wave 1 within here, we're going to be looking for wave 2 to be holding on top of the B wave in the ABC correction of this wave. So we have an ABC here. We're going to have wave 1 and wave 2, and we're going to look for wave 2 to hold above the top of wave B right here. So here we go. We're going to count this one out right in here, and we're going to try to see, does this hold right here? And we can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Followed by an A, B, C correction in here. And where does the C wave hold above? It holds right here above the top of wave B. So this wave, wave 1, and then wave 2 holds above the top of wave B within wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. And within each of these, we can count all the different waves with 5 waves within each one of these. Not only that, but many people who follow Elliott waves know wave 3 of an entire move is usually your most dramatic wave. It's the most exciting wave of a bull market is wave 3. And that's what we experienced right in here. 6 months of absolute insanity and fun. And really, it was more than 6 months, right? We started in March. We went all the way until May. It was over a year of this. However, the beginning phases of this were actually pretty rough. It wasn't really until this phase back in here that things got really exciting. But this was wave 3. So we have wave 1 with 5 waves within wave 1. We have wave 2 with an ABC correction within wave 2. And then we have wave 3, which we can count 5 waves taking us all the way up within wave 3. And we could see that the bottom of wave 2 within wave 3 did hold above the B wave within wave 2, just like we were looking for back in here, that in the second wave, there's an ABC correction and that we were looking for wave 1 to hold above the top of wave B. So that would mean that we completed wave 3 of the altcoin market back in May. So just to review it again, we saw wave 1 with 5 waves up. We saw wave 2 with an ABC correction. We've seen wave 3 with 5 waves up and wave 2 within this wave, right? Holding above the top of wave B within wave 2. So now what are we looking for? We're looking for the fourth wave, the big corrective wave. We're looking for an ABC correction that comes down to wave 4 within wave 3. And I know we're saying a lot of waves, but that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a pullback with an ABC correction to finish that wave off and do wave 4. And if we look at all of this stuff, right, we were counting the smaller waves within all of this. We'll take all these smaller waves off so we're not complicating the screen. We can see that within wave 3, we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and our ABC correction pulls us down to wave 4 within this wave with an A, B, C correction. So wave 4 pulls back within wave 4 of wave 3. And I know we're saying a lot of different stuff, but I'm just trying to show it to you, right? We have the big mega wave 3. We have 5 waves within wave 3, and we see an ABC correction pulling us back down here to the base of this wave within wave 3. And again, an ABC correction, which is what we have, an ABC correction. You can see that the height of this wave came up. You can see the base of this wave right in here, up, sets a new low, and then back it rebounds. ABC within wave 4, and then it recovers back to the high and then pulls back again, right? Where does it pull back to right here? And what did we track while this was happening live? We were looking for this price area to hold right in here, right? So we see once again, it pulls back to hold above wave B within the correction. Here we go again. We're heading into wave 5 now. We're going to start looking for 5 waves to the upside, right? What do we see? We see that wave 1 pulls up right near the high, pulls back to the top of wave B within the corrective waves of wave 4. So once again, we look for wave 1, and then we look for wave 2 to pull back to the top of wave B within the correction. That's exactly what we got, guys, right? So we ABC corrected right back to the top of the B wave within the corrective wave of wave 4, and now we're starting to march up, right? So what are we looking for now, right? If we've pulled back and we've touched the top of this wave, what comes next? Well, we're looking for the third wave to come in, then fourth wave, and then fifth wave, and then that's the end. And so here we are in the fifth wave. We've seen that wave 1 pulled up near the top and it broke above the top of wave B. It ABC corrected for our corrective wave and held above the top of wave B. Now we're looking for wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. But what does that mean? Why did I spend the first half of this video talking about Bitcoin and looking for the top coming in for Bitcoin? And it all ties back to this, that the altcoin market tends to take off after the top of Bitcoin has already come in. That happened back here in 2017. That happened here in this most recent wave, that the top of Bitcoin came in, and yet the altcoin market continued to fire off. So if we see that there's still a wave 3, 4, and 5 coming in here for the altcoin market, what would that mean about wave 5? That would mean that the top of Bitcoin comes in wave 3, and that the altcoin market pushes up higher after Bitcoin has already topped, and that the next push up in Bitcoin is the final push up for Bitcoin. Now, I'm fair. I can look over here and I can say, you know what? If the charts that we were just looking at for Bitcoin, we could see that the altcoin market was pushing into wave 5, and we had 5 waves within wave 5, and Bitcoin topped at the top of wave 3 within wave 5. So what could that technically mean, right? That could technically mean we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's an ABC correction that comes in. We do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's not until wave 3 within wave 5 that Bitcoin tops, and then the altcoin market has one little final push a little bit higher. But when I look back to previous market cycles and where the tops come in for the altcoin market with that big of an explosive rise, I sincerely doubt that's how it would play out. I'm betting my marbles on the top of Bitcoin coming in at the top of wave 3 here, and that Bitcoin will have a big dramatic fall and go into a retracement as the altcoin market finishes off its final wave. And if I kind of zoom in on that a little bit to argue that it would come, the top of Bitcoin would come in right here at the height of wave 3 within the fifth wave of the fifth wave, would say that, hey, the explosive craziness in the altcoin market's only going to happen right in here. And historically, if we look at things like XRP's price chart, when we look at the big massive rise that happened here, it happened once Bitcoin topped. It seems unlikely to me that just within that tiny amount of wave 5 within wave 5 within wave 5 that we're going to get all that to happen just within that short wave. I think we'll probably get 3 waves up like this, 3 waves, and that's going to be what you're going to see in here on the final wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that we'll see 5 waves happen within a lot of the lagging altcoins, and that those 5 waves are not going to come in just in here, right? Everybody's up to make their own decision on what it is. I'm trying to show you the picture of it all, right? What does the picture of it all, regardless of where you think Bitcoin's going to top, regardless of anything, what does the whole thing really show you? It shows you a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all of the Elliott waves were counted for. All of the rules stood true of holding above wave B in the corrective waves for the ABC corrections that came in here. All of it says we're going into the 5th wave. So throughout the course of this YouTube channel, it's been about a pick me up, a little bit of reassurance. We were going through a bear market for the majority of this YouTube channel. We had to stay strong, not buying into the extreme hype, but trying to figure out where are we going to get to. Right now, we're counting waves, and what do all these waves say? It says that we're in wave 5 and that we've completed wave 1 and wave 2, and now we're in wave 3, which means there's a 4 and a 5. Where are those going to land? We're all going to find out, but I hope it kind of painted a picture on where we're at within the market cycle, because I know a lot of things. I saw some stuff out there today. Bitcoin's going to, $500,000 in 2025 or something, $250,000 in 2025 or something, which of course, if you run the math, that's a 300% gain from right now. Shiba Inu went up 1,000% in the last week. So that's why I always talk about it. When I do the whole bcbacker.com thing at the very end of all my videos, I talk about why mathematics and percentages are so important to me, and they mean everything. And I just don't think a lot of people are running a lot of the math right now on different assets, and it's whatever, man, and to each their own. But I'm sticking with all the things that I think and all the things that I've forecasted for years. I think that we're going to have one more push up in Bitcoin. That's going to give us wave 3 of the altcoin market. Bitcoin's going to have its first initial tumble. And then as Bitcoin retraces, we're going to go into the exciting wave of wave 5 within wave 5. And it's exciting, man. It's going to be really exciting. But you have to know, if you follow this channel, I try to just shoot it straight with you all the time, right? When we're in the depths of despair and bearish time periods and bearish price actions, I'm positive. I'm like, hey, we're going to pull through this. We're going to turn around. It's going to get up there. But at the same time, when prices are high, I do the opposite, man. I'm not going to turn into a hype boy because the prices are higher, man. I'm not going to call for outrageous, crazy targets when prices are high. I always get nervous when prices are high because, well, what happens? Corrections happen. And so I'm laying out the scenarios of what my expectations are and the thing that I'm going to be looking for going into the remainder of the bull run. As, man, where's the top coming in, right? Like we talked about, Bitcoin's up 1,900% in the last year and a half. Everybody's chasing 65% of it to try to get to 100K. 65%. It's up 1,900%. I think the truly exciting thing is going to happen here in the altcoin market, and that's going to be my focus. And of course, I have to peek at Bitcoin to see what Bitcoin is doing, but the excitement is just around the corner, and I hope these Elliott wave counts, I hope that kind of helps show you where my mindset is at right now in the cryptocurrency market and why I'm looking for a top of Bitcoin to come in. Because what do we see happen to the altcoin market after the top of Bitcoin does come in? It surges. But all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this one. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it kind of opened your eyes a little bit on where we're at within the market right now, at least from my perspective. That's where I think we are within the market. And I spent a lot of time on this, and I hope that you enjoyed it. So it feels good to be back. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're looking for something to do, I've put together a course over here on bcbacker.com. Put together this course with a bunch of educational content, deep diving into the previous Bitcoin bull runs, the different altcoin market cycles, tying them all together to show how the alt seasons have worked in the past in relation to Bitcoin. I talk about my personal exit plans in here, and I teach you how to set up your own charts and your own indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. I also talk about mathematics and percentages and why those are so important to me. And I do have a market update in here, most recently, September 30th, right down there. That's available to anybody enrolled in the course and anybody who newly enrolls in the course. And you could check out all of this educational content over here on bcbacker.com. You can follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching my channel. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.